Meghan Markle was asked to step outside into the garden after a party, leaving her feeling humiliated. What's top on Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's to-do list? It's addressing the important role of women in the royal family, especially after the Queen's passing. Hello friends, welcome back to the King YouTube channel. So, right after Meghan Markle married Prince Harry, she was asked to leave a garden party. And this isn't just a rumor, my friends. This garden party was hosted by Prince Charles, Harry's father, at Buckingham Palace to celebrate his 70th birthday. Meghan was seen sticking her tongue out, and the press used these photos to highlight her poor behavior. The truth is, Meghan complained about feeling bored and started acting like a spoiled child. Honestly, even children usually have parents around to manage their bad behavior, which wasn't the case for Meghan Markle. So, she was at her new father-in-law's birthday party. As a married woman, invited as the wife of the host's son, she had the nerve to complain about being bored. And this was only about 15 minutes after they arrived. While being photographed, she stuck her tongue out, possibly thinking it would make her look cute and likable. Absolutely not. When Prince Charles heard about Meghan's behavior, he ordered the car to be prepared and told Harry that it was waiting for them and they needed to leave. In both the UK and America, and likely everywhere else, it's very rude to insult the host and other guests at an event. Harry and Meghan had accepted the invitation to attend this event. Even though I didn't grow up in LA, I'm sure it's considered rude there too. Standards of good behavior are universal. When a child has a tantrum, the parent or guardian is expected to handle it. But Meghan is a married woman in her late 30s or early 40s. By now, she should know how to behave in adult company, even if the event isn't exciting for her. Kevin Costner was probably right when he mentioned people with bad manners at his event. It was so funny watching Meghan Markle and Prince Harry trying to mix with the A-listers. Meghan looked foolish and Harry seemed completely out of it. Meghan is such an embarrassment to the US. So many American women, given the same opportunity, would have been thrilled to learn the ways of the royal family and be a student of the late Queen. Can you imagine? The Queen was the epitome of grace, dignity, and perfect etiquette, unlike Meghan. She's such an embarrassment. Many American women have married into British nobility and had no trouble adapting. Some were even featured in TV programs. It takes effort and hard work, but balancing the two cultures is definitely achievable. But clearly it was too much for Meghan. She just doesn't have any class. Apparently nobody ever taught her proper manners. Her behavior at the garden party was inexcusable. Obviously the Prince of Wales didn't meet her standards. What was she thinking? This garden party happened about 4 days after the wedding, and that's how Meghan Markle treated him. This man, who volunteered to walk her down the aisle, was treated so poorly by Meghan, she acted very immaturely. Charles had to ask Harry and Meghan to leave, and Harry made some excuse, so Charles sent Camilla to tell them to leave. Meghan acted like they wanted to leave anyway and then decided to switch up the stairs. I've seen that video at least a dozen times. So what is number one on Harry and Meghan's to-do list? They have made it clear they want to be back in the thick of it. They want to pick up royal engagements in the UK again and are preparing for the Invictus Games. Harry is set to give a speech for the 10th anniversary, and both he and Meghan are determined to force their way back into the UK, regardless of whether they're wanted. Meghan plans to join Harry on the next visit to the UK, despite claiming she would never return, never felt at home there, and didn't want to be drawn back into royal drama. So it looks like Harry and Meghan might be coming to the Invictus Games unless something unexpected comes up. If they don't, people will wonder why, and most will think it's because they don't want to see Prince William. Harry has made it clear he doesn't like his family, the monarchy, or even his home country and its people. It seems like they just want the perks without actually doing anything for the country. They don't seem to care what anyone thinks, which is pretty typical Sussex behavior. I'm not entirely convinced this will happen. They probably need to hire a private jet if they do decide to come. And what about their children? If they bring them along, I guess they'll need to bring their parents too, since minors entering the UK usually need to be accompanied by their parents. Either the kids have to be listed on Harry and Meghan's passports, or they need to have their own passports under their own names. Either way, they won't be able to come without their parents, or the passport situation will give them away. So if Harry and Meghan do show up for the Invictus event, there's not much the British people can do to prevent it. But if they choose to stick around and appear in public, well, then the people can react however they want. They can boo them, throw rotten tomatoes, ignore them, or even turn their backs to show how they really feel about them. Harry and Meghan should realize that they'll likely be ignored by both the British monarchy and the rest of the world. Do they seriously have the audacity to show up? That's the big question. Now, let's change the topic and discuss the significant role of women in the royal family following the Queen's passing. Lately, I've noticed that Sophie, the Duchess of Edinburgh, has emerged as a powerful figure within the royal family. She's stunning, isn't she? It's like she just gets more beautiful with age. Like Catherine, the Princess of Wales, Sophie is also a devoted wife and mother, and her kids seem to be really well adjusted. And the best part, they're not invisible. Even if recognition of her talents and crisis handling abilities has come a bit late in the royal drama, we can't deny it now. She's really stepped up and taken charge when needed. Now she's got the chance to truly shine, and we're all here for it. The late Queen did an amazing job guiding and supporting these two women, who some might call commoners. Catherine and Sophie quietly embraced their roles within the royal family and honed their skills over time. Finally, they're getting the recognition they deserve. They're asserting themselves, representing the royal family, and tackling issues left behind after the Queen's passing. And let's not forget about Camilla. I know there was a time when a lot of people didn't like her because they saw her as the other woman. It's a sad situation. Charles still had feelings for someone he couldn't marry, and it caused a lot of problems in his marriage. Diana was young and longing for his love, but it just wasn't meant to be. They weren't a good match. But we can't ignore the fact that Camilla plays a significant role in Charles' life. She's the one who keeps him going. He truly loves her. She might be a big reason why he can still fulfill his duties despite the terrible cancer diagnosis. Camilla is undoubtedly a strong and influential woman who supports the king through thick and thin in health and sickness. She's like a silent partner in this marriage, providing unwavering support. And let's not overlook Princess Anne. She's truly remarkable, just like her late mother. She'll never falter in meeting her responsibilities, much like the Queen did. It seems like these four women in the senior royals are the ones really taking charge and keeping everything in order. They're definitely holding down the fort. I think feminists worldwide should admire them. In their own understated manner, they've all stepped up when needed and aren't afraid to take action. Maybe Harry's right that a crisis brings families together, but I'm not so sure. I'd say a crisis often brings out the best in families who already have a strong bond. The Queen's deep affection for Sophie speaks volumes. She truly saw her as a daughter, which says a lot about Sophie's character. Sophie mostly kept out of the spotlight, especially while raising her kids. But now, as the Duchess of Edinburgh, she's stepping up and doing an incredible job. I agree, the new Fab Four Camilla, Sophie, and Catherine are a formidable force and will guide the monarchy through these tough times. I've always felt that Meghan underestimated the late Queen. Maybe because the other women never sought the spotlight like Meghan did, she misjudged them. But Meghan doesn't seem to make much effort to truly understand things. She settles for a superficial understanding and thinks that's enough. She struggles to grasp British behavior, it just doesn't register with her. She comes across as ignorant and abrasive. I completely disagree with the idea that Camilla is responsible for Diana's passing. Their marriages were very complex, but I believe Charles truly loved Diana. However, his love for her was different from what she needed. Regardless of Camilla's presence, Charles wouldn't have loved Diana in the way she deserved. Charles also had his ambitions to become king. Eventually, karma catches up with everyone. But seeing Camilla content and happy now suggests she wasn't entirely in the wrong. Camilla and Charles both ended up marrying other people in the end. They were somewhat obligated to marry other people, and it seems Camilla did love her husband. They also had children together. It's important to remember that Diana herself admitted on television that she was the first to stray in the marriage. When Diana and Charles' marriage deteriorated and seemed beyond repair, Charles began to reconnect with Camilla. Her marriage was effectively over before the divorce was finalized. During the divorce proceedings, Diana had other relationships, but I believe Charles has only ever truly loved one woman, and that's Camilla. Diana, being young and coming from a troubled background, was needy and emotionally unstable. She had many issues and was simply incompatible with Charles in many ways. Some aspects of her personality might not have suited the life of a future queen. Tragically, Diana's death resulted from getting into a car with a drunk driver, not because of Camilla. Did Camilla force Diana to have multiple relationships while still married? It's unlikely. Diana herself admitted to having the first affair. Was Camilla responsible for Diana neglecting her children while she was involved with various questionable individuals? No. Did Camilla force Diana to get into a car with a drunk driver again? No. Did Camilla tell her not to wear a seatbelt while speeding around Paris with a drunk driver? Absolutely not. Let's allow Diana to finally rest in peace. She's gone, and while her death was tragic, the world must move on, especially Harry. Well, folks, that's the main content of today's news. Did you find it interesting? What are your thoughts? Please share them in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the content, consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to the King YouTube channel. Bye bye.